Good evening, time now 7:30. Meteorologist Dan Henry here from the SNN Forecast Center. I'm tracking the very latest on Hurricane Irma for you, but first I want to take you to Doppler radar and show you what's going on a little bit to our south, because this could be sort of a harbinger of things to come here along the Suncoast. Notice how many tornado warnings we have here, each one of these pink boxes. So I'm going to take you in to each one. So first let's go into Fort Pierce here. There's a tornado warning coming on shore just south of Vero Beach near Fort Pierce. So there's a tornado warning there. Then we go south to between Belglade and West Palm. There's a tornado warning in this band of rain here. Moving south slightly further along Alligator Alley, dangerous situation for folks trying to get out. There's a tornado warning right there, just to the west of Fort Lauderdale, and then yet another tornado warning. That's actually pretty near the Miami radar site, pretty much right on top of NWS Miami, just to the north of Homestead and to the west of Palmetto Bay. So the reason I want to show you this is because actually Charlotte County, you guys are in a tornado watch until around midnight, and I think that tornado watch will likely be extended further north as these rain bands move further north. So again, not a really big deal as far as around the Suncoast right now, but you see the vigorous movement with these storms as I put this into motion. This is a dangerous wind threat. And also some of these storms often have rotation in them, so you really have to be careful if you're headed out in the roadways tonight. If you are still evacuating, there is a tornado threat. Winds right now around our area, current conditions show not too bad, 17 miles per hour right now out of the northeast. So the way this is going to work is these winds are going to shift around. They're going to be a little stronger out of the northeast late tonight and then early on Sunday. But then those winds are going to pick up out of the north and then really come in whipping off the water out of the north and northwest as the storm center passes to our north. So another thing I want to show you is those wind probabilities of those hurricane force winds. And you see we're pretty much nearly certain to get hurricane force winds here, showing that Sarasota and Fort Myers right in that near 100% chance of hurricane force winds. And the European model, I think I've said this before, shows direct hit possible to us here in the Suncoast. So I just want to urge everyone, rush those preparations to completion because very dangerous conditions are potentially on the way. That's what all of our models are saying, and they're in awfully good agreement. And I just want to drive that home. So here's some headlines for you. Tropical storm force winds by Sunday morning, okay? By around 8 o'clock Sunday morning, some of those winds could be picking up to become greater than 40 miles per hour. Hurricane force winds Sunday afternoon. So we're talking about 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., some of those 74 mile per hour or greater winds moving into the Suncoast. Storm surge up to 12 feet. And that's a very dangerous situation. I've seen projections for parts of Siesta Key being up to 9 feet underwater. So here's the hurricane warnings, and sorry, my producer said something. Pablo, what did you say? Okay, so there's hurricane warnings right now over the peninsula of Florida, and I'll take you north into Georgia then as well, showing you that there is actually a substantial amount of hurricane warnings up there in Georgia. So if you're going to evacuate tonight, folks, you need to go north and then you need to go west, because I do not anticipate hurricane warnings being posted for cities like Pensacola. So you will be safer there than you would be here. All right, let's take you to satellite now. Let's show you what Irma looks like. So this is a very powerful storm. The pressure is lower than the winds would suggest that it would be. So what normally happens when a situation like this arises, where you have winds of 125, but such strong pressure of 933, oftentimes the winds will catch up to the pressure, so to speak. And that will result in the storm strengthening somewhat. I'm going to take a drink real quick, and then I'll narrate a little bit more. All right, so let's zoom in just a little bit. Some of those outer rain bands that are moving over South Florida, I already showed you radar there, not looking too good there at the moment. But speaking of radar here, I want to show you what I think could be one of the bigger threats for us here across the Suncoast, and that is the accumulated rainfall of 8+ inches for some areas across the Suncoast. So I know we've already had one of the wettest Augusts on record around the Suncoast, and I think that's just going to potentially create even more flooding for some folks. So talking about climatology, talk about how often it is that we would see a lot of hurricanes this time of year. Obviously, year-to-year variability with number of storms is extremely high. You know, some years we've had more than 20, and some years we've had only 4 or 5 storms all season. But the biggest increase in tropical activity occurs during August and then into early September. Peak of hurricane season is September 10th, and we are very near to that right now. So I'll end my live hit for now, and I'll be back in just a few minutes, and I've got your 7-day forecast to end on, and I'll show you that, and then I'll leave you with a live look at the latest track as of the 7 p.m. advisory. Here's a 7-day forecast showing Sunday and Monday as the worst days for us here. So rush those plans to completion here on your Saturday, and I will get this updated tropical tracker up here for you. And show you the very latest with Hurricane Irma.